Ladies and gentlemen,
What you gonna do, brother?
oh yeah!
Woo! What? What?
If you smell what the rock.
You got the wrong guy. I'm the dude, man.
Welcome to another edition of Around the Turnbuckle. My name's the Big Alboski. His name right there is Professor Keith. And joining us from Maryland tonight is Jai Kole. The King Beast is here. He's in the building, Keith.
What's going on, folks? King Beast is in the building. Jai Cole is here. Definitely excited to be on your wonderful broadcast. So professional and upscale with the video. I was just thinking it was audio. So you definitely stepped the game up right there, man. Video stream, live stream.
Oh, man, we try. We've met. We started this thing at the beginning of when COVID first broke up, and we've met so many guys like yourself just in the indie circuit, wrestling. We've met all sorts of people, and they just keep sending us their friends and their coworkers, the guys that they've worked with, and they just want to be interviewed. And I love it. I love providing this platform. We love our local scene here. Keith's in New Jersey, but I'm in Pennsylvania, so I'm about a stone's throw from Allentown.
Okay.
So I can check out Allentown when they have events. But again, COVID's got things all screwy. We talked about that a few minutes ago, but we'll get into all that for a second. I got a comment already. I'm back.
Something serious.
Is Anthony Joseph seriously announcing he's back? Who cares? All right.
You feed the troll.
So once upon a time, big man, you were a fan before you started actually learning how to pro wrestle and going to school and do this.
Yes, sir.
So take us through that journey. You were, once upon a time you were a youngster who was a fan of this first. Am I wrong?
Right. Exactly.
And who were your influences? Who did you start? How did you get into wrestling in the first place?
I used to watch it with my family, to be honest with you. Primarily, it was my stepfather. He used to watch it a lot, and like in early 90s, I used to see the Undertaker and then WCWs on Saturdays, and all the way up until like the Attitude Era started. But before that, it was like Undertaker, Yokozuna, Farouk, Stone Cold, Triple H, Michaels. Bret Hart was one of my all-time favorites, to be honest with you.
There you go.
So that was kind of the era that when I first started watching it,
Right.
Pretty much the same childhood then.
As him.
All the guys I grew up with too.
Yeah, you couldn't tell me nothing about the Hart Foundation, man. I wanted to be a part of the Hart Foundation. For real,
absolutely.
To be honest with you, brother, in the Nation of Domination.
Absolutely. So when did that passion for this business turn into like, oh, I want to do this, all right? And where did you start going to school?
Oh, okay. So I was watching wrestling for a long time, but to be honest with you, it wasn't until about like 98, and I remember this like it was yesterday. It was this is when the attitude and entertainment aspect started to come a little bit more, but this was the night after Survivor Series 98 when The Rock joined the corporation, right? And then if you remember that Raw, that next night when he faced Stone Cold for the belt, and then the Undertaker came out with the shovel and all that. He was the corporate. That's when I was like, you know what, man, I want to be like this. This is what I want to do.
Something you want to do,
move and everything. So yeah, it was more the once they started to kick in the entertainment and the whole story, the whole vibe. I was like, man, this is what I got to do. The next day I went to school. I was like telling everybody what I wanted to do, and the whole class just laughed at me.
That seems like a common denominator, man. That seems like like people. When people say, "Oh, I want to do this," you get laughed at. You go through that, but your passion was burning. So when did that start for you? When did you start? What did you look for as far as schools go?
Well, I was too young to get on Tough Enough because that was the only thing that came up when I was younger, and I was still in middle school when Tough Enough started.
Right.
And my uncle had worked for MTV at the same time when they were filming Tough Enough, so it was nothing that I could do. So I had to wait all the way until like 2009. Gilbert is from Baltimore, like myself, and he opened up a school in 2009 in Southern Maryland. So I went and tried out. It was him and the Holy Rollers, Earl of Pearl and Rich Rich Myers.
Yeah.
Real famous in the DMV area. So I just tried out, man. It was him and Axel Rotten was down there a lot because Axel Rotten's from Baltimore too. So he trained with me.
Yep.
Robbie E would go ahead and stop in every now and then. But yeah, that's when I got started, man, with Gilbert, Axel Rotten, a bunch of the guys in Maryland in 2009. So that was nearly almost 10 years ago, 11 years ago.
That's crazy. You had the one blessing with the uncle with the MTV in, but you're not old enough. The timing's wrong. But then you're blessed again because you're able to have, Gilbert, Dwayne Gill, was with WWE forever. You had Axel Rotten. You had all these guys that had made it and knew what it took at a national level. And thankfully, they're there in your backyard and you can hook up with them. So, I mean, it just strikes me. You have the one blessing, but the timing's wrong.
Right.
But then you're blessed again, and that time it's right. You're ready.
Yeah. Years later, I was ready, man, and that place was some good memories. A lot of people came out of that school. Jessie K is the first woman with a WWE referee. She came out of Gilbert's. Referee Derek, he's a referee in WWE. A lot of guys came through there and came from there and actually wound up doing some good things, in the wrestling business. So that was a good little foundation, man, that helped me get started. A lot of memories down at Gilbert's.
So most guys, when we talk to, they say, when they go to wrestling school, it's not what they expect, right? Right away, you don't get in the ring right away, right? They want to test. They want to test you out.
Yeah,
they want to work. They want to work you, right?
Yeah, and that's the point where it comes to be where like I need to be a fan, or when you take those bumps for the first time, you quickly decide if I just want to watch this shit on TV, or I really want to do this because a guy that's my size, 6'2", 6'3", 300 something pounds,
right,
hitting flip bumps and everything. And they were like, man, you're very athletic for your size. And I still get that today. People still say, yo, you're very athletic, for your size, like a Bam Bam Bigelow or somebody like that. So they were always behind me because they was like, oh, he had the ability. But let me tell you this. I mean, when you first run those ropes and you got those scars on your arms and your body hurts and, people train 2 and 3 times a week. I mean, you slowly start to come to reality like, all right, do I really want to do this? But I just stuck with it, man, because it was like, this is really, really what I want to do at the same time, Tell
us about that first match in front of a crowd. Who did you wrestle? And how that experience?
Okay. My first match was I'll probably say I kind of got more than I got 2 first matches in a sense because I don't count the first one, but the first one was a tag team match. I had a partner by the name of they call him the Postman, G Postal, and our tag we were working against Pretty Ugly, which is Jimmy Dream, also known as James Ellsworth, which is also from Baltimore,
right.
also
James Ellsworth, right.
Adam Ugly. So that was my first match. That was like a really decent match. But my most memorable match was a tag match in West Virginia with the same partner against the Barbarian and a wrestler named Onyx.
Nice.
So that was my official match where I felt like I really started to understand the business and psychology and stuff like that. So I mean, I had the Barbarian having me in a chokehold and and putting them over and everything. To me, it was pretty good for a first match.
Yeah, that's a thrilling opponent to have the first match, the Barbarian. But so, how many organizations have you wrestled from that point till now?
I mean, if you're an independent wrestler in indie, I mean, you probably can wrestle anywhere between 50 to 100 different places. There's probably places I don't even remember, but I mean, I've wrestled in, I can just name states. I've been in
states.
I wrestled in Canada for Canadian Wrestling Elite. I wrestled at Monster Factory in Jersey. I still train at the Monster Factory. I've worked with Maryland Championship Wrestling, Fusion Wrestling down in Virginia, Pure Pro Wrestling, New Heights Wrestling down in Florida. And I've even worked the AIWF Mid-Atlantic scene as well, man. So it's just a lot of different opportunities that was out there. That just when you first started, man, you just worried about wrestling as much as possible. But as you get older, you're like, man, well, you need to. It's not so much about getting booked on shows. That was my concern. Is being booked every weekend being booked. But now it's like I'd rather hit the gym or train and take bookings here and there until I can kind of save myself till I get to the next level. You know what I'm saying?
And that's the best advice for somebody starting out, right? To make sure, like you just said, you're getting booked, you're getting the time in the ring, you're getting to learn, because you can go through, wrestling school, but like you just kind of said, if you're not out there wrestling actual matches and having actual opponents, sure, you've got the fundamentals, but you're never going to develop that way.
Yeah, you have
to do it.
Audience, you have to, no doubt.
So for all the young wrestlers in the audience or the aspiring wrestlers, there you go. When you're starting out, work as much as possible. And I agree with you. Now you're getting to that point where you can be picky, because you got to think about now, not getting any younger, and every bump adds up. And every bump, bump card, exactly like Matt Hardy says, and he's right. Older you get, it all adds up.
Yeah, that bump card, man. Once you are all out of bumps, and I mean, you hate it because you know it's going to come. I mean, you even get upset when you find out the Undertaker or Stone Cold can't wrestle no more, whatever the case is.
God, yeah.
Like he's all out of bumps, man.
So you've wrestled a lot of places in the country. You've been doing it now for about 10 years. What would you say was your best match? No disrespect to the rest of your opponents, just that match when you were done, you felt like you had good chemistry. You felt like you gave them their money's worth.
In a sense, I would say I've had a couple like that, but one that does stand out for me. I wrestled Jimmy Rave about 3 years ago. Jimmy Rave's been around for a while. He came to Maryland. This is around the time at EWA Pro Wrestling. They were really high on me at the time. I actually won 2 trophies at EWA in Maryland. But yeah, Jimmy Rave, he was a little bit older than me. He was very experienced. So I would say from a psychology, just listening and working more, and it wasn't a lot of different moves. It was really more working the crowd, getting people, excited and things like that, and just kind of just giving them little pieces and taking it back. That was probably one of the best matches I had as far as a psychology standpoint, without really doing too many different kind of moves. We just worked the people, and then when it was time to give them that 1 or 2 bumps, they kind of really ate that all up. So I would probably say Jimmy Ray was probably one of the best people that I've worked with, to be honest with you.
Now you're a big dude, but you can move around. For your size, as you said, as Keith said, based on what we've seen of you, because when we have a guest, we do research, we check out some of your matches. Not that you want to compare yourself to, but where do you get your move set? Like, is it a combination of a bunch of things, or have you tried different things? You fancy yourself more of a power guy?
Right. As of right now, I am changing a lot of things up, but like my foundation was kind of like, studying like people my size, like Kevin Nash, Mark Henry. I would watch a lot of like Mike Awesome stuff, Test. Even though I was fans of other wrestlers, but trying to learn somebody like myself, I would watch the Big Show. I thought he was really good when he was in WCW also.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Nash was always one of my favorites. So yeah, just big guys, Vader, Yokozuna. I mean, these are guys that I still watch today. Like I might watch Raw,
great guys to
AEW. But after that, I'm going right to the network or something and go watch old tapes of like, big guys that's just working. I just love to see it. Like Bradshaw, when he was doing his thing, I thought those things were amazing. Like times when the Big Show broke the ring with Brock Lesnar, like I like stuff like that. That horrifying, just disastrous kind of fighting stuff going on, man.
Now the King Beast is a heel. Am I wrong?
In most cases, yeah.
In most cases,
yeah.
And do you enjoy that more than being a face?
Yeah, I would honestly say that, because the thing is that in a lot of cases I'm bigger than my opponent. So from a psychology standpoint,
right?
You know what I'm saying? I mean, I can have a fight with somebody the size of Rey Mysterio, but to have that going on and over again, But I actually enjoy it because they always say somebody that's a nice guy is very good at being an asshole. I'm a nice guy, but I'm very good at being a bad guy. So I definitely prefer that. But people do tend to still cheer every now and then, just because,
Alan,
they,
I think you just described my life philosophy there.
Go ahead. What is your life
No,
philosophy?
I'm saying, I think he just did. I think I'm a nice guy, but people telling me I'm an asshole.
Hi, Courtney. Yeah, that is quite true. You fancy yourself a nice guy, but you are an asshole. You're right. All right, so, or is it the other way around? I'm sorry.
You never know.
Yeah, so talk about now, like what you've been up to now recently. COVID has really been affecting a lot of guys as far as getting booked, as far as like you said pre-show about doing more things online, doing more TV tapings rather than live events.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it definitely changed the landscape of wrestling, and honestly, I would think that it probably changed the shape of wrestling forever. So, I mean, at this point, it's going to be a fine line between people that want it and people that don't want it, and those that don't want it will continue to fall off, and more opportunities will come above. But I mean, I've been doing things here and there. I mean, this past weekend, we did a taping for All or Nothing Wrestling in Pennsylvania, and I actually was able to win the Legacy Championship.
Nice.
This past Saturday. Yeah, so be on the lookout for Eclipse Wrestling / AON. We out there and not too far from Allentown area, but yeah, I mean, just be on the lookout for them, man. I've been with them for a couple of years, at least 2018, and finally be able to take some gold home, man. And I was in a tournament, like a 6-man tournament, man, and I was able to take that bad boy home, man. So I'm definitely proud to show that Legacy Championship belt.
Awesome.
And as I think you should be, because I mean, I know there are people out there that are going to say, well, how much does it matter? You win a championship when everybody agrees to lose to you, but it's like, okay, it's not the same as say Tom Brady wins the Super Bowl, but it is an accomplishment. It's showing you that your hard work was noticed and that you're appreciated and you're figured in and you're being given a responsibility. It may not be the same as say winning a Super Bowl, but it certainly would be something a little more than say you got a promotion at work. It's a similar feeling, but it's a little extra. Would you say that?
Yeah, exactly. Because let's just say from a wrestling standpoint, the belts are really supposed to be given to people that put in the extra work to bring in the views or the seats and stuff like that. So I mean, yeah, it's definitely they don't just give it to anybody. Like you look at somebody like Drew McIntyre. There's no way you can't tell me that he doesn't deserve that belt.
He was fantastic.
You know what I'm saying? Like, how can you not like that? Like him as a champion or be like, man, damn, I remember. So yeah, it's definitely something that I definitely think is shown just by your work ethic, man. That's how the business is.
You mentioned Drew McIntyre. That's a hell of a story because he was in there. He was the chosen one, right? Remember? And then he left because he had problems. He had personal problems that he had to deal with. Goes elsewhere, makes a name for himself, comes back, and now is the champion. It's a hell of a story.
Right. Yeah, I remember because he was one of my favorite guys when I was watching. I had just started to get in, and he had like one of the best theme songs. So back then,
I love that. Yeah, I love his old music. I don't know why they ditched it.
Right, yeah.
Because now it's more like a Scottish warrior thing.
I'm gonna guess it was a rights issues thing. They were willing to pay for it while he was there, and then he wasn't there, and it's like, well, why are we paying for this now?
Right. Yeah.
I don't know. It was cool music, cool entrance.
Yeah.
Describe your entrance. Like, describe where the character came from, or where'd you come up with being the King Beast? Where'd that come from?
Well, I came up with it. It's a little weird story because I was I do a lot of reading, and then there are things that I like to kind of have meaning, like names and symbols and things like that. Great. So the whole Jah thing is associated with like Rastafarian culture and stuff like that. Okay. But in most cases, it's spelled Jai, and in the typical language. So I kind of took that with my real name being Jeff as a J also, but people tend to call me Jay. So originally that was going to be called Jay, but since my last name really is Cole, I didn't want people calling me J. Cole. You feel me? Because I don't rap. So you know what I'm saying? So we changed it because there are people that spell it Jai and pronounce it Ja, like Michael Ja White. So that was one reason why we changed it, and we just kept pretty much my last name, but associated the Jai from like Rastafarian culture and stuff like that. But as far as the King Beast, that actually came from something in the Bible, but it was switched around. It was called something involving the Bible prophecy with King of Beasts. So I just changed it and kind of took that knowledge from it and changed it to the King Beast, meaning like, and there'll always be a wrestler of calling himself a beast, but I'm the king of all beasts in a sense, you know what I'm saying? So
there you go.
Like they call Brock Lesnar like the what they call him, the beast incarnate or whatever. So I would be considered the king beast of all beasts in that system. So that's kind of how I got that.
Yeah, and Keith pre-show compared you to the man beast Rhino. There's another one there.
Yeah, that's. I actually was on. He was actually on that first show that I did with the Barbarian. It was him, Mike Knox, Rhino, and Bob, and a couple other guys. So I remember working with Rhino. He was cool too, man. Definitely a cool guy.
Are you a fan of old ECW? Have you catched all that like back in the day, or you know?
Man, I just posted a message to Mikey Whipwreck last week about him capturing the belt. You know, just thinking about how I used to sit up all night and watch ECW, and like ECW was pretty much like changing the whole landscape of like wrestling.
Oh yeah, it was crazy. It was crazy.
He wasn't doing all those things until they ushered all that into what we have today. You know, they was the shit, man. To be honest with you, I still watch that stuff.
Yeah, I was only in ECW arena one time with my cousin Kyle. I'll never forget it in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
But ECW was at the time. It seemed like the perfect time for that to happen, right? If it happens now or if it happens back in the 80s, it doesn't do as well as it did right where it was during the Attitude Era, basically.
Well, I mean, you had the Attitude Era because of it. ECW had to come along when it came along because it was so 90s. It was so into the grunge culture and everything that was going on, and you know, Rob Zombie and all of those acts. That's probably the only one that actually got permission to use the music from, because they actually had Rob Zombie on the show blasting them at one point.
What about Metallica? Didn't they do Enter the Sandman?
They did Enter Sandman, and
I remember.
The thing is,
I love that entrance.
And I know everyone's going to be shocked by this, but Paul didn't always ask for permission or pay people for the music rights.
Right.
There's a reason that some of the ECW, like the themes he really thought he needed, had different vocals at a certain point.
Right.
Because some of the bands were like, we kind of want some money if you're going to use our stuff.
I love that entrance.
And his solution was, okay, that's one perspective. The other perspective is I can go tell Harry Slash, my musician friend, to go do a cover real quick, and we can just use that instead.
There you go.
Yeah. That I remember that SmackDown song. What was it? The Marilyn Manson song they were using for a while too.
Yeah,
right.
One of my favorite joints. Yeah, but yeah, ECW, man, bro, like that was. I had no clue what I was watching at 12 o'clock at night. It came on late, like when I lived.
It was like 1 o'clock around here.
Yeah, and I had no clue. Like I was in this whole different world that nobody knew about but me. I felt like it was crazy.
So, when was the last time you were in the ring?
Actually, last Saturday. Last Saturday was the last time I was in the ring. That's when I won the Legacy Championship belt. That should be on their YouTube channel soon. I'll definitely share the link.
Definitely.
The whole tournament and everything. But that was the last time I was in the ring.
You send it to us and we'll share it, brother.
Okay, no doubt.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And do you know or have heard of when you'll be in the ring again soon?
Yeah, I'm actually going to be going down to, besides my training, I'll be in the ring on Tuesday, but for training at the Monster Factory in Jersey. But In March, I'm working on going up to Ricky Morton School of Morton at the end of March. I definitely want to check it out. They do live stream every Sunday. Looks like a good place. A lot of guys been going through there and checking it out. One of my guys just passed away, John Johnson Pork Chop. He wrestled up there too. So
some of the other guys mentioned him. Yeah, I saw it on Facebook. Some of the guys posted that on Facebook. Yeah, I'm sorry for that.
Yeah, condolences.
He was a good guy, for sure. So yeah, as of now, we just got that, and everything that I'm taking is just kind of short notice. I'm just taking it as is, to be honest with you, because most of the companies aren't really running like a lot, you know.
Right.
Yeah, especially up here in the Northeast, those restrictions are so tough. I mean, most of the people we know that are around Pennsylvania, and Pennsylvania is one of the hardest right now to be able to get anything going.
Because we actually had 3 fans that were able to come in last Saturday. It was 3 fans that paid to come in. They wanted to come in, so we had 3 fans that came and they had masks on and everything. So it was, it was record breaking. 3 fans.
But you gotta love that though. That they're that dedicated. They're like, we don't care. Take our money. That's what's so great about.
They got their money's worth.
I'm sure up close, front row seats. I mean, what more can you ask for? I mean,
was WWE always the goal, or AEW or Ring of Honor or anywhere like that?
I'm gonna honestly be honest with you, man. Like I'm definitely a WWE guy in blood, because that's just what I first started watching. To me, so I've always been familiar with that. But as I got older and started to see that there's other opportunities out there, I would definitely wouldn't mind doing AEW. I definitely wouldn't mind even doing Impact. I think that Impact still has a good audience. You can get some good exposure on that company. They're a solid place to kind of get the notoriety and everything that you're looking for. So I mean, I definitely would consider something like that. Yeah.
We do a segment that some guys like and some guys don't. So I apologize ahead of time if you don't.
Yeah.
By the way, everybody watching right now, if you want to follow this guy or get in contact with this guy, right down there on the bottom of your screen is all his info. His Facebook, his Twitter, his Instagram.
That's what's up. Yeah,
it's all down there if you want to get a hold or check out his stuff on YouTube.
Guy's professional, man. I appreciate that.
Absolutely, man. We're here for you. Yeah, but this next segment is one that was created by my late cousin who passed away. He was actually going to be a regular here, and that is, if you could wrestle anybody alive or retired or still wrestling, or any wrestler that's ever stepped into that ring, who would it be and why?
And you know what? You're not the first person to ever ask me that, man. And that's just a hard question. And to be honest with you, you got to give me a second to think, man.
Oh, yeah. Well, take a second. Keith, you got it. We always give our opinions, too. So, Keith, you got a guy in mind for this guy?
I mean, my first thought, because, like I say, when I saw him wrestle, I'm like, man, I see a lot of Rhino. I see a lot of what I liked in Rhino about him. Here's a big guy that can move around, but he works like a big guy, because, I mean, I know you've seen it. You know what I'm talking about, the big guys that don't work like big guys. They take too many bumps, or they think I can keep up with the cruiserweight guys. And it's like, no, you're a big guy. You bump when you're supposed to bump. You can be fast. You can be quick. But you can't do that the whole match, or you lose what makes you unique and special.
Right.
So I mean, if we're talking dream match, I'm gonna take a cue from my man down there, and I'm gonna put him in there with, in his prime, Diesel.
Oh man! Oh
yeah, man. That would be good. Especially because that's a contrast, because then that's actually the rare moment where
he's got a guy bigger than him, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's not something that happens all the time. I mean, I've wrestled some big guys, but to wrestle a big guy, I like, because I can do things that I can't normally do.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And
that's what I was thinking.
Toleration. But I honestly feel like this, if it had to be anybody in their prime, it would have to be Triple H, because I feel like this that if you can keep up with him, you're it. You have the stamp of approval.
The game.
If you can get through him, you got it. Triple H. That's going to be the guy that's going to have to step in the ring with me.
I love it.
And he's still around. So I'm not.
Oh yeah, he wrestles
happen.
at WrestleMania, man, when he feels like it, but he can still go.
Yeah, no doubt. So that's my pick, Triple H.
That's a good pick.
I love it. All right, man. Let me pay a bill real quick. If when it comes to natural relief, turn to CBD, Dr. Brown CBD. Dr. Brown CBD uses the latest scientific knowledge and experienced professionals to create top-of-the-line CBD products at affordable prices. Go to that website right there, www.momandpopcbdshop.com, for all your CBD needs, pain relief needs, natural stuff, guys. No drugs, natural stuff. Go to momandpopcbdshop.com. We got JT Funk. Do you know this guy?
I know JT Funk very, very well, man.
JT Funk. I have never been so many different shows and looked around to see him there too. This guy has the drive and determination no matter what. Jai is a stand-up guy.
I definitely appreciate that, man. I mean, JT is actually going to be coming with me next month to Ricky Morton School.
There you go.
But I appreciate that, man. No doubt, man. Great guy.
We had the thrill of seeing him wrestle live before this got real crazy. They did an outdoor show in Pennsylvania for CCW, and we saw him wrestle live. And after the match was over, Keith and I were over there, and we got to talk to him. And the first thing we said to him, man, that drop kick is killer.
Yeah, he got a bad drop kick. I ain't gonna lie.
Oh, he does.
He got a bad.
Oh my God.
That's the one thing I wish I could do, like the smaller guys do.
He gets up there in the guy's face.
Yeah.
But yeah, we love. Listen, man, we love Funk. Funk sends us a lot of you guys. That he, whenever my schedule is empty, he's up all the time.
and that's how we connected. Because I mean, this isn't the first time. I think he told me about your show maybe twice, and I didn't get a chance to get around to it. But I was like, yeah, let me definitely check it out. But he was the one that definitely told me about it, and was like, yeah, okay. I was like, yeah, this sounds pretty good, man.
Yeah, and he's popped in a few times, but like he always shows if he's available, and he sends me a guy and the guy's on, he'll pop on and he'll show his support, which I love, because there's not too many guys in the business that do that.
No doubt. That's that.
As you know, you've been in it long enough.
And that's what's so nice about this too, is that it's really showing the better side of wrestling and the community side and the guys that are actually trying to help each other and take care of each other. It's nice to be able to put that narrative out there, because the narrative is almost always about the bad stuff and the backstabbing and the guys who screw each other over and the guys that step on your face to get a spot or get a booking or whatever. It's so nice to see so many people that are out there that are like, no, man, I want to get better and I want everybody around me to get better too.
Right, man. I mean, if we could eliminate some of these tabloids and some of these news feeds that just stream like bad information all day, it'll definitely help wrestling out a lot. Like, you know what I'm saying?
How much do you follow the current WWE product, and what do you think of it?
I follow it. I actually worked for WWE. I did some extra stuff in 2019.
Really?
Yeah, I was there working with the No Way Jose. I did the whole way, just filling in different spots and scenes and seeing how everything was done. Being in the atmosphere in general, I personally didn't see anything wrong at all. But watching the product, I mean, it just pretty much is one of them things that it is what it is, I think that WWE has always followed American culture, and whatever's changing in the world, they shift with it, because it's a publicly traded company. I mean, even though we all want to be in our little world like it once was, how we is, it's just not that anymore. So, I mean, I still have those moments where I'm like, oh man, I feel like a kid again. And those moments are hard to find, to be honest with you. It happens every once in a while.
They're few and far between. It used to happen weekly, and now it happens once in a while.
Right. When Undertaker comes back, or when Edge comes back.
When Edge came back, right?
Like you're like, oh man, I got that feeling again. That kind of brought me back in the game. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I was watching that Royal Rumble live with Keith here, and our dolls were on the floor.
Yeah.
when Edge's music hit.
Yeah, right.
That was awesome.
Unreal. It was unreal. So, you know what I'm saying?
And knowing now what we know now about everything that's going on with COVID, I'm so glad that was in front of a live crowd.
Right. Yeah. Oh yeah. Because
they erupted. They erupted.
And he deserved it after everything he'd been through.
I mean, I get goosebumps just thinking about it, but watching it on TV, man, I everything in my body was tingling. I was like, oh my God.
I never thought that he would actually have opportunity to ever come back. I thought that was it years ago.
Right.
Yeah. I'm right there with you.
Because have you seen that documentary? Where that shows his comeback.
I don't think I got a chance to.
What's it called, Keith? I don't remember. It's on the tip of my tongue, but it's on the network. If you look up Edge, there's a documentary which shows his journey to get back into the ring.
It was one of the 24s, I think. It was under the 24 banner.
Okay, where they followed him around for a year leading up to his comeback.
Yeah,
leading up to the Rumble.
Yeah,
and working out with his wife Beth Phoenix, right?
Oh yeah, I forgot that was his wife, right? Yeah, she was she was a really tall chick. Also, she was a really nice competitor, man.
And then this year he won a damn thing.
Right. That's going to be. I really want to see what's going to go down at Mania, because I did hear that they're letting people, like 30,000 fans in the Buck Stadium. So I've seen an advertisement, but I haven't seen like tickets on sale. So I'm getting this feeling like this is around the time where everything will probably start to try to transition back to normal.
The vaccines out there. I'm hoping that they do have fans at Mania this year. They did have 25,000 or so at the Super Bowl in the same stadium. So I don't see why they couldn't do it if they did the same protocols, same testing, whatever.
Yeah.
If you watch the Super Bowl, it looked like the stadium was full because they had people, but they had cardboard cutouts.
Yeah, I seen that. I mean, I thought that. I don't know how that came about.
But it looked great.
Yeah, it did,
and they sounded great.
Yeah, I was just saying it sounded good too. Yeah, like we all missed that. That's just.
I know you guys miss it, but we as fans, I can't speak for Keith, but that's the biggest thing I miss is fan reaction when they're doing things. Really, I could form my own opinion on what I'm watching or what they pump in on the Thunderdome, but it's quite obvious. Like when Roman Reigns comes out, they start a you suck chant, you suck chant.
Right. It's just
a lot of that is canned noise. That's why I'm
right. I miss the fan. I know you guys miss performing in front of the fans, but I miss seeing fans in the audience during events.
Yeah, it's not like if that had to be removed from wrestling forever. It would be kind of tough to even. It's just a big part of it. Like the fans are like a huge chunk of.
We got a Shango chant here. You know that guy? Do you know that guy, Jai? You know Shango?
Shango, I'm not sure. I couldn't.
Shango's a wrestler that we know, a friend of ours he's a friend of Funk's too, for CCW in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, and he gets around different places too. What is the other name he's wrestled under?
He's wrestled for SSW.
He also wrestled as Adrian Starr.
Yeah, I may have met him a few times. I'm not really sure. But I'm sure I've seen him. You come across so many people in the locker room, bro. You really don't
I'm the same way where I don't really forget faces, but I forget names very easily.
Yeah, it's just but now, it's been a minute since the locker room's been packed. So I mean, hopefully we'll get back to that, fun atmosphere, playing jokes and stuff like that, and having a good time, man.
Other than WWE, do you watch any other wrestling? Do you watch AEW or anything like that?
Yeah, I do. I do watch AEW. I try to catch it every week. I do really like watching NXT. I do try to watch that. I do watch AEW. I've been watching a little bit more of Impact because I like what they've been doing with the AEW Impact thing. So I've been watching that. I think Impact is a little bit underrated. It should be a little bit more. People should pay attention to it a lot more. They got a lot of good talent down there, and I like what they're doing.
That's the thing. I think most wrestling fans would agree that it's not that they don't have talent in Impact; it's that it's mismanaged, it's misused.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't help that they keep going to networks that not everybody has access to.
Right.
I think that's their biggest disadvantage right now, because ever since they've changed over management and they've gotten through some of the rockier parts of that, the issues with the Hardys and the issues with some of the other stuff of when you don't have wrestling people involved that are trying to run a wrestling company. And now they have more wrestling people involved. They have Dreamer involved. They've Don Callis involved now. They've got D-Lo. Like, now they've got some wrestling people in charge. And, it seems like it's getting better. But the unfortunate thing now is, because of all the sins of the past, they're kind of isolated now on this network that not everybody gets. And it's a shame because I was definitely in the camp of the people that I don't understand, the people that root against the product. I mean, I don't like everything that's on TV right now, but I hope it's successful because that's more places for you guys to work. It should never, ever get to a case where it was in the early 2000s, where it's basically just Vince McMahon. And if Vince McMahon doesn't like you, you're not going to have a career at a national level. That's bad.
Right.
That's bad for the business. And that's not even a knock on Vince McMahon. Exactly. It could have been Eric Bischoff. It could have been anybody. One guy being the tastemaker and being in control, it's just not good for the business.
Yeah, it's not, man. And I think that it's good to have all these options. I mean, like even having Ring of Honor, MLW. I mean, I think if Ring of Honor worked more in their advertising and really putting the word out that they're around, it wouldn't be so difficult to watch them. It seems like TV time is very limited for the ROH guys, but they're still a good option as well, man. I mean, getting to the big stage, getting on TV is the goal, no matter how you look at it. I mean, it's not always about money, but I mean, because that'll come eventually, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, the more options, I think is great, to be honest with you. So I would go anywhere where I can get the exposure at.
So you mentioned Triple H, you mentioned Undertaker. These are all old school guys. Is there anybody on the current WWE roster that you enjoy watching?
Yeah, I do. I like watching Keith Lee. I do like watching him. I like watching.
I love Keith Lee.
Yeah, Keith is cool. I like watching my man. What's my man name? He's in the group, and he used to come out with the belt in his mouth. He was injured for a while. You know what I'm talking about. And he's Dunne? Pete Dunne, yeah.
Pete Dunne.
Yeah, Pete Dunne is cool. Yeah, I mean, those are some of the guys. Drew McIntyre I like. I mean, but those are some of the guys. Also the Hurt Business. I think that was a whole nice unit to put together. The Hurt Business, a bunch of good guys.
It was good for all of them, right? I mean,
I think so.
You have the veteran leader in MVP, and then you have Bobby Lashley, who's also a veteran, but not as much, not as old as him. And then you have those two young guys. You can. Sheldon Benjamin, you have. It seems like the whole thing is about more so about Cedric than anything.
Right. I mean, because I sat and had a conversation with him, at the E, and he's a really down to earth, cool guy. And I remember there was one moment where he was really being pushed, and he just kind of disappeared for a minute. But I think that that's definitely the right spot for him. And speaking of other guys I've been watching. Matt Riddle, obviously, because he came from the Monster Factory, where I currently train at.
Cool.
Matt Riddle came from there. A lot of guys came from the Monster Factory, so I do like watching some of those people on WWE and just seeing, Damian Priest is another person that came from the Monster Factory. I remember training with him before.
Nice.
Before he got he got to the big stage. So I mean, those are some of the guys I do watch currently. One of my favorite guys I like to watch. He's actually, I'm not even sure if he is in if he's an Impact, what is his name? Michael Elgin. I think he's a pretty good guy too, man. I enjoy watching his matches in Impact.
A lot of guys like JT Funk and others have mentioned that they watch AEW Dark on purpose just to see if there's guys that they've worked with on the indies.
Absolutely.
So has there been a handful of guys that you're like, oh, I worked with him?
Absolutely. Like I mean, there are guys that are signed as regulars that I've worked with or been on shows with. I mean, so yeah, that's one of the things I'll probably say indie guys like myself look forward to, because there's nothing out there that's just giving us an open door for exposure every single week. And it reminds me of like the WCW factory thing that they were doing a long time ago. And you would
the power plant.
Yep. And then so yeah, that's the main reason why, one of the main reasons why I look forward to it, just to see like who I know or whatever, who's gonna get on there next, That's dope.
Yeah, absolutely.
And don't worry, my time's coming on there too soon, man. So
well, that was my next question. Where do you see the King Beast Jai Cole in 3 years?
In 3 years, I'll be honest with you, in 3 years, whoever is offering the best amount of money. That's who I'm going to be with in 3 years, because like I said before, man, as you get older, you need more resources, and you have to make better decisions. So something I would take now as opposed to 3 years. In 3 years, whoever has the best opportunity for me is who I will be going with. I can't say one particular person, but whatever's going to do me the best on my wrestling career.
So my brother TJ does a podcast called Spittin' with Spitter on our media group here.
Yeah.
He interviews a lot of hip hop artists and places and people like that. And lately I've been stealing one of his things that he does on his show, and he doesn't mind. And that is we've just asked you a bunch of questions for 45 minutes. Is there anything that you want to flip the script? You want to ask us?
Okay, since we're talking about rap, which I thought we was gonna get into that, but yeah, I'll start with you. I'll probably say your best rap song of all time. Your best rap. It could be any era.
I'm not a huge fan of hip hop, but I will when people ask me that question, I always go back to old school Dr. Dre, old school Snoop. Because that's what I grew up with. I grew up with that. Maybe TJ, my brother's has kind of introduced me to more as we got older, more like Wu-Tang and Nas and things like that. But but that's not my alley per se. But if I had to answer that question, that's the answer to the question.
And
what's on your playlist?
On my playlist right now, a little bit of everything in the gym, man. But Snoop and Dre is definitely a good answer, because those are some of my favorite guys. But man, in the gym, I'm listening to a little bit of everything. I got some Nipsey Hussle on there. I got some West Coast classics, Ice Cube. I got some Wu-Tang. I got some Seven Dust on there for you. I got some POD in there for you. I got some Incubus in there for you. I got a lot of different things going on in the gym. Even some Michael Jackson might come pop up every now and then in the gym. That's where I listen to most of my music at is in the gym.
You got a question for the professor? Because he's an encyclopedia of knowledge. You see those books behind him?
Right. I was coming for him for the same questions, but I'm gonna ask you something different. Your best rap artist, and then your best rock artist.
Me or him?
Him.
Oh, him.
Yeah, because I don't listen to a lot of rap. I'm kind of like Alan, old school stuff like that. Rock, that's hard, because a lot of times it becomes like, what am I in the mood for?
Yeah.
At the moment. But if I had to narrow it down,
I know he's gonna say somebody that's really famous, so
probably most likely.
He gonna probably say Jay-Z or something like that. Like he gonna probably say somebody that's really known that you can't help but know who they are. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean that's definitely how I am.
Keith, you fancy me an Eminem guy?
Absolutely.
I have listened to a lot of Eminem, yeah. But
Absolutely.
I like it with rap, it kind of becomes like, yeah, the stuff that's really known, that's really popular, that's really out there, that's what tends to kind
What
of catch
about
my
rock groups, Keith?
attention.
You like what about a rock group?
Yeah, that's where it gets tougher because I love rock. I'm definitely a rock guy.
No doubt.
Um,
I'm definitely in the rock myself, man.
I usually come back. The ones I always come back to is like Audio Slave, Soundgarden. Chris
Mhm.
Cornell was great, gone way too soon.
Yeah, definitely.
Nirvana. We're starting to
Oh,
notice a pattern of lead singers.
Lincoln Park.
Nirvana, yeah.
Lincoln Park.
I love Seether. Seether is
Linkin
great.
Park.
Oh man,
Green
yeah.
Day, Linkin Park.
Yeah,
Linkin Park's
Seether,
great.
man. That they are on my playlist too, man. I remember that first album. I bought the CD and I still got it. But yeah, I
Yep,
still listen to
me
them
too.
today.
Yep, you can't
That's
go
that's
wrong with
incredible.
them.
Yeah. It's not like it used to be, but now it's a little bit rock is kind of like falling down a little bit. It's like popish kind of thing going
Yeah,
on.
pop's
It's like,
been kind of dominating for a while. But that's the thing
yeah,
about rock. Every few years they're like, "Oh, rock's dead, rock's gone, it's over, it's been replaced," and then whatever's hot starts to fizzle, and then here comes rock again back.
right. Yeah, yeah. I think more people pay to see them live now because they don't really have much of a choice. Back in the day we had music videos on all day long, and
Yep.
like up here we had 99.1. They used to have like the HFX festival or something every year. I forgot what they call it. Yeah, it was like, but they had stations for that stuff. You don't really hear that kind of stuff on the radio no more. Not even like real rap. A lot of commercial pop stuff. It's a weird time for music, man. No doubt.
All right, man. We're about to get out of here, but is there anything you want to say at the end? Is there anything you got coming up? Is there anything you want to promote? Anything like that?
I definitely appreciate y'all for putting me on the show, man. I just wanted to throw it out there one more time. The new legacy champion, creating a legacy in pro wrestling. I would say just follow my social media for all upcoming events. You just follow my IG or Twitter or Facebook.
All right down there on the bottom, people.
Yeah, yep. I'll be posting everything there. And it looks like you spelled the name with a C and not a K, the last name, Kole. On one of them, it was Kole, and the other one there is a Cole. But it's all good, man. But yeah,
you're right.
You're
absolutely right.
It's all good. It happens, but yeah,
I'll fix it.
Definitely appreciate it, guys. Definitely had some good time, man. Hope to see you guys on here soon, man.
Yeah,
if you keep we'll keep tabs on you, of course. But I mean, if you keep in contact with us, we'd love to have you on again in a year and see where you're at.
Oh yeah, and I'm sure there'll be tons more to talk about. I love doing these interviews, man. I got another one lined up in April. But yeah, I love doing these sessions just to get a chance to talk to people and kind of give them the history of what I do and where I'm from and stuff like that.
He is Jai Kole with a K, ladies and gentlemen.
And don't forget, man, prowrestlingtees.com/Jai Kole.
Right. There you go.
This joint right here, King Beast version.
Yeah, right there. Tia was like, nice shirt. Where can we order it from?
Yeah, Pro Wrestling
Tees. Pro Wrestling Tees.
Pro Wrestling Tees.
.com/Jai Kole.
/Jai Kole.
Yes,
there you go, Tia. Thanks for chiming in. Our guest tonight on Around the Turnbuckle was the King Beast, Jai Kole. He's the Professor Keith. I'm the Big Alboski. And we'll see you next time on Around the Turnbuckle.
Ladies and gentlemen, what you gonna do, brother? Oh, yeah! Woo!